Right after assuming office, the President William Ruto made it clear that this country for far too long has been overtaxing trade, whereas on the other side it has been undertaxing wealth. Could that have informed the financial bill of 2023? That question informs the basis of our conversation today here on Business Glide, your go-to point on matters, public policy, economics, and business at large, hosted by yours truly, Richard Mwenja. Always a pleasure to have you on board. Now with me on this conversation is none other than East Africa's renowned public scholar, the first of his name, Herman Manyora. Great to see you, sir.
How are you?
You are here yet one more time?
Of course.
Top economist, you are a jack of all trades. Are you a master of them all?
No, I just know a thing or two about things.
You've questioned the intelligence of people like Kwame Owino, top economist, the council
I've never questioned anybody's intelligence. That would be stupid of me.
But
I've never done that.
But you have
Kwame Owino is a top economist.
You have little confidence on the Council of Economic Advisors.
But I've said I'm looking at what they are saying. And then I'm concluding these are World Bank houseboys.
Reducing them to World Bank houseboys?
Yeah.
Can you even make changes at the National Treasury?
That's how I classify them. If I went to Treasury, I will turn it around if I'm allowed. I will not listen to this advice from people who have never helped anybody to prosper.
There's a whole professor there, Njuguna Ndungu.
I will sit him down and teach him how to do economics. But you know what? You've done some little economics, so I will not blame you because you don't know much.
You taught me, actually.
You must first begin with how did World Bank begin? In fact, there's nothing like World Bank. It's the Bank of Reconstruction and how did it begin? Immediately after the Second World War, 1946. Why?
That's the question.
To help rebuild Europe.
Not Africa.
Then IMF. How did it come into play? What is the relation between IMF, World Bank and Africa? They were never made for Africa. They were meant to reconstruct and rebuild Europe after the war.
But they have helped us with post-COVID economic recovery measures.
So if you go back to the first generation SAPs, structural adjustment programs in the early 80s, the Lome, whatever, Casablanca things, if you go that history, you'll find they have never helped anybody.
Not even Singapore.
And even the people in those institutions, in the central bank, where ministers, they are all put there by World Bank and IMF, if you don't know. They can't allow a country to put there somebody like Manyora. No.
They can't.
They put there their boys and girls. The ones that were panel beaten and they are clean, they go there now. To help the economies fail.
Who sing to their tune.
So that the African economies can never prosper. And if the African economies don't prosper. I had a very lengthy discussion with a friend of mine from the UK the other day. And these are the things we were talking about. The IMF and World Bank can never help Africa to prosper. Because if you prosper, then they will have nobody to exploit.
They have made Kenya the sixth wealthiest country in Africa.
Which one? Which wealth? Don't look for wealth in the books. Wealth must be seen when you see people walking, they are happy.
When you go to Kajiado.
Wherever you go, you see Kenyans are happy. That's how you know wealth. You can as well say Kenya is the wealthiest country in the world.
East African community.
But with Kibra here and Kawangwala and Korogosha, where is the wealth? So I'm saying these World Bank things, these things you read in the books, in documents, these are useless things.
Very commendable reports.
Oh, rubbish, nothing. They mean nothing.
They mean nothing.
We cannot be a developed economy, we cannot be a middle income economy, we cannot be the sixth wealthiest country or 10th or first
biggest
or third.
Manufacturing in East
You just go to town and look where people used to be full in hotels. The hotels are empty. Where you couldn't find a seat at midday. Now you can go there and put 4 seats and lie there yourself.
Go to Kibera, you'll find...
Matatu here, you wouldn't get matatu at certain times. Now the matatus are passing empty.
We are putting up modern housing units in Kibera, all over the place.
Forget about it. Those are things meant to keep Africans down. Poor forever.
Very well. A good point to start the conversation. And so, straight into today's conversation matters. The president's sentiments on it is high time that Kenya goes big on taxing wealth and other than just taxing trade. And we've seen the coming up of the financial bill of 2023, and it seemed to have been inspired by that sentiment by President William Ruto. First on the list has been the proposed increment of pay-as-you-earn tax from 30% to 35% for those earning over 500,000 Kenya shillings. Of course, very few Kenyans are in that bracket. But from where you sit as your footnote, you are a public servant, you already have the pay, you are now going to contribute the housing fund, you have the NSSF and NHIF contributions on it. Do you think it was fair enough for the government to rope in the wealthy into the taxation just so the government can collect even more?
You know, it would make a lot of sense if there were many Kenyans earning 500,000 and above. There are very few.
Sure.
Certainly, I don't belong to that category. Because the administration of tax in this country is such that income tax normally targets salaries more than these other earnings. Because people who earn money other than salaries, at where so that you can tax as source, are very clever. They employ the best accountants and the best tax experts to do their books, so that at the end of the day they pay nothing. So it may reap very little. First of all, we need to streamline the tax administration. We need to make sure it's not only poor people with salaries that pay taxes. It is people people should pay taxes on their income, real income. So once you do that, then I will agree with 35%. It's okay. To me, 35% is okay. Even 40. There are countries where it's more than 50. Let's stop lying that our taxes are the highest. There are countries that tax people over 50%.
But
Forget
in
about
those
these
countries, systems are working. Like
that's what I've said. First of all, streamline collection of taxes. Let everybody who should pay taxes. Don't always look for simple people like us who are defenseless. And you come for us. Go for people who make money, who earn money, really money, tax. Secondly, let the country work. Let systems in the country work. Let people see what their tax is doing. Then progressively move from 35 to 40, 45, up to even 50. There are countries that tax people 50%, but they can see what the money is doing.
Very well.
And people are willingly and gladly paying taxes because they see what money is doing.
They're getting value for their taxes.
Yes.
And systems are
In
working.
fact, you are safe. If you live in a country, and I want to tell rich people, please allow government to tax you. If you live in a country where the poor are poor, extremely poor, incomes are so low, people are going to bed hungry, you are not safe.
Why though?
You are not safe because crime will go up. You get it? There will be so much crime, you never be safe. That's why we have all these walls surrounding houses. Instead of enjoying the beauty of your home with a hedge or a fence, just a normal fence with nice vegetation there, shrubs or something.
The huge window.
You put walls, ugly looking walls. Windows are no longer beautiful windows, part of the aesthetics of the building. Windows are to protect thieves, burglar proof. Everything looks ugly. You can't walk in town. You can't walk with your phone. So, and it's going to get uglier. So we must improve tax collection and we must allow government to tax those who have money so that government can then spend those taxes on less fortunate Kenyans so that we move into a system of a country that is free education, completely free.
Very well.
Free quality education, free health care
provision.
so that people, even the poor, can survive. That way the rich can enjoy their life. So I have nothing against higher taxes.
Nothing against higher taxes.
Nothing, yeah.
But then again, much as you have nothing against the higher taxes, you are a public servant. And for those who don't fall in that category of earning 500,000 and above, we are still seeing them subjected to, of course, the pay-as-you-earn tax at 30%. They are still now going to contribute to NHIF, NSF, the housing fund.
And it's not easy, by the way, just to cut you short.
Yeah.
When we used to earn from Module 2, we used to earn some little money. I got my P9, which shows how much I was paid from that program. In 2022, I was paid 120, which I don't know whether it even came to my account. So I'm supposed to pay tax about at 6,000. I think around 40 or something thousand. We used to get, in a year, we used to pay taxes of 1 million shillings. Do you know what? Every time you get 100,000, they will take 30,000. Every time you got a million shillings, they will take 300,000. It is not a joke. I know the pain. Even as I say, let government raise taxes. Continue what you are saying. Yeah.
Very well. So my question is, don't you think the government isn't taking concern with how much households have very low disposable incomes? Then how are they going to grow trade? We want to undertax trade, but overtax wealth. Then if you are left with lower disposable income, then who is going to even venture in that trade?
That is how governments balance these things. Because unless you have a sizable number of Kenyans with money in circulation, shilingi kwa mfuko, the economy can't grow. Because it is from disposable income that people save. And it's from saving that chain, you know, of investment and then creating of jobs, the circle, you know, it, breaking the circle. Yeah. Secondly, like you put correctly, what is the point of putting up all these buildings and malls when there is nobody to go and shop there? So people need to have money to spend to grow the economy. So government must balance.
Strike a balance.
How much do we tax or levy people? Because if they remain with nothing, then the economy will stagnate. Because people are not coming from another country to come and shop in Kenya. They are Kenyans who will shop here. Because we have refused to make Kenya, that's why I'm saying there are no economists here. These are just village boys. At the time, Kenya was the only shining country in the region. If I was in charge of this country, at least in the treasury, if not the president, I would have made Nairobi the come-to capital of this region.
Investment destination.
You are a nobody in Rwanda if you have not done shopping in Nairobi. You are a nothing in Zambia if you have not gone to Nairobi for shopping. You are a useless in Uganda if your daughter is not in school in Nairobi. We had the chance to do that when we had a head start. But these houseboys you are calling economics, they never saw it. Kenya would have become the hub, the destination, the come to place, and the Kenyan shilling would have been a strong currency. Strong. We will still be doing like 30, 40 shillings per dollar now. You get it?
I get it.
And there'll be a lot of people coming here to shop using dollars. You come on and yelewa?
I get it.
But now that we are just like this, the same, we are now, all of us are the same, the people who can buy things in Kenya are Kenyans. And therefore you need to leave them with some money to do that, to grow the economy. So government will need to strike a balance. The truth be told, most of these things government is talking about, they are good things. Who disputes? Can somebody dispute that NSSF is rubbish the way it is now? It's useless.
Not quite.
It's true. It is useless because if you go home and you have returned somebody giving you 40,000 shillings, surely how will it help you? So it is true that we need to increase taxes, contribution of NSSF, so that we are like Uganda. We need a poor man at the lowest paid Kenyan when they retire. NSSF gives them 3 million, 5 million. That's what we need, okay? So we need to step up the contribution against the reality that incomes are so low that whatever we do will injure badly the economy, in the sense that people who have been overtaxed can't be customers.
They can't be customers. Just the other day we were having a conversation on how just the figures were really alarming of so many Kenyan retirees being ranked amongst the poorest globally, and many of them continuing to work even in their retirement, actively working. Do you think now that the government seems to be having this purge to continue robbing into a public servant's payslip and leaving them with very little disposable income, don't you think that will now make the Kenyan worker a slave to employment, that at no point will someone say, I'm going to peacefully retire to the village and just enjoy the fortunes I've made?
You know, that's the balance we are talking about. That's the balance we are talking about. The government has to balance. Look at this poor, miserable worker earning 30,000 shillings or 20,000 shillings. If you invade their payslip, what future is there for them? Because apart from the retirement benefit you'll get, you also walk towards our future with some own personal arrangements of saving. You need to have your village house ready because you don't have a house in Nairobi.
Sure.
So if they scoop away everything you earn, leaving you with barely enough to survive on,
or even to bequeath your children.
Yeah, it means you are walking into retirement a very miserable person. So government will have to balance. But understandable as these levies are, there will be need on the part of government to understand what is it we need to take, what is it we need to do first before we levy this. How can we grow the economy? Because I've said, for example, I have nothing wrong with, I've been opposing this 3%, but on further reflection, I think it's an okay thing. You deal with a few problems, technical issues, challenges inside, operational issues, implementational issues, the questions that are, once you deal with those questions on 3% housing, it's still a good thing. But there might be need to do one or two things. Top on the list, you must grow the economy. As you grow the economy, incomes, salaries will go higher. And then you can now go there and take your 3%. So the government will need to think about that.
Very well.
Yes.
You've picked concern with Kenya's balloon in wage bill, and one of the ways the government is trying to tame it down and also to generate revenue has been an increased taxation on the per diems. It's proposed in the financial bill of 2023. Do you actually support that argument that as much as Kenyans are excited anytime they go for these conferences through the facilitative allowances, there is something much more to their pockets? Do you think it's a good idea for Kenyans for the government to go after the per diems of civil servants?
I was reading a document. It was written some times back, and it was sent to me, I think, by Bruno, about the corruption of per diem. It stopped serving its purpose. It became a corruption tool. So scrap it off, let the people just work. And the world has changed. You know, you needed to travel to do seminars, Mombasa, Naivasha, outside. No, now the world is on your phone. Why would you need to go to Mombasa? Why do you go to Dubai? Why do you want to go to Israel? The world is just here. Israel is here. So those things should be scrapped. I benefit from them, but I'm saying they should be scrapped.
They should be scrapped.
Yeah. Not even reduced, scrapped.
Trade union movement in Kenya has tried to really urge the government to go big on the per diem thing, at least to give Kenyans some dignity in their pay slips. So you don't...
Yeah, scrap and improve. In fact, let me tell you, let us, where the world is going today is remove allowances, give people good salaries.
That's it. Good basic salary.
Good basic salary. Forget about all this. Oh, this part of the salary is housing. This part of the salary is
commuter allowance and all
then
that.
There's per diem. No, somebody pays you well, and when a duty demands that you go to Mombasa, you just use your own means because you are a well-paid servant. What they do, they just organize the seminar venue and the accommodation. The rest you travel on your own salary because your salary is good salary. That's the direction to travel.
That is the direction.
We completely destroy allowances. Just have a good basic salary. And avoid unnecessary travels. And therefore, according to me and to many people, per diem should be abolished.
The solution, as you've said, starts with addressing minimum wages in this country.
Yes, correct.
Very well, there you have it from Herman Manyora, such a think tank on matters of public policy, economics and business at large, as well as governance issues in this country and across the region here. That point by him takes us to the wrap of this conversation on Business Glide. Time now for our fan of the week. It is none other than this amazing lady, Vivian Wangare in Eldoret.
Vivian Wangare from 64.
64.
Cisvo. 64 Eldoret. Thank you, Vivian, for being part of us.
For being part of us.
Yes.
All thanks to the labor migration industry. She's said to go to the United Kingdom. And
the UK.
Least, yeah. To try her luck out there.
Safe journey. May the green pastures indeed be green.
Indeed be green.
Yes.
And if they are green, he brings us. She
should remember us. You give her our number so that she can be sending a little donation to us when she's away. Wish her the best.
Very well, Vivian Wangare, asante sana. And it's also a clarion call to many of you who want to be fans of the week here. All you have to do, go on Twitter. I'm at Mwenje Richard, at H Manyora as well. Send us your location and your full name. Also tag along that particular edition that you've just watched. And definitely you'll grace our screens as the fan of the week. Until next time on Business Glide, I'm Richard Mwenje. Always a pleasure.